The infotainment's decent. All I have to remember to do is drive on the left. So this is a bit of a different video, as you'll have guessed, back in time to summer 2019 as we touch the edge here of summer 2020. This is a video that I've had in the archive footage for a while. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to take over my usual equipment, and I didn't have quite the same mounts on the dash and the different things that I would use for a road trip video normally, but it's a good jaunt around the UK. I hope it'll be informational. You know, it's comparing a little bit the Renault ZOE EV rental that we got in the UK to the Bolt EV here, but then just, you know, the networks in the UK, the performance of the car, difference in distances, that kind of thing. I thought it'd be an interesting video to just jump into whilst we have a little bit of a lull in activity here and we can't get too far out of the driveway. But I hope you enjoy it, and obviously, as always, if you have any questions, just email plugandplayev@gmail.com. Thanks for watching. So, thanks to eVision for the good service. Decent space in the boot / trunk. All the cables you need. There's the Type 2 connection, not one we're familiar with in the States. So we started with 100% fully charged. That around about 100 miles journey took us down to 37% with 54 miles left after 188 predicted, 190 when it had been sat in the sun. So some of that was high speed. We got a little bit up into the higher speeds that this can do to see what we will do to the range, but it's been good so far. Simple push button start. Suitably electric futuristic sounds. Annoying safety warnings, just like the Bolt, which happens to tell you to not be distracted by the screen and then puts a distracting message up on the screen. And it was surprisingly peppy. You know, it doesn't have as much zip as the Bolt off the line, but it has enough to get you onto the motorway, up to speed. It'll pop between 60 and 70, 75 miles an hour pretty nicely if you need to get past slow moving traffic quickly. And yeah, so far pretty happy. After charge, we'll get the trickle charger, granny cable as the UK seems to term it, plugged in overnight and see how much we get back from 37%. Okay, so coming up on 11 o'clock in the morning, this went on charge on the trickle charger last night at 11 PM. So let's see what 12 hours on a granny cable or a level 1, whatever you want to call it, will get you in terms of extra charge on the Zoe. Okay, that's pretty nice. Almost up to 90%. See what that translates to. Oh, okay, 134 miles. Disconnect cable to start up. Will do. Bowling cable management, I know. Sorry, neat freaks. we'll sort it out after. %to 88%, so we've got a solid 50% of the battery, more than 50% of the battery overnight. That'll do you. If you were commuting around town on a 50-60 mile commute, you'd be just fine. So welcome to the Great British Summer, middle of August, tipping it down. But the good news, charging on one of the Ecotricity electric highway pumps, and it was a really easy start, nothing difficult about it. Just like Electrify America, it's horrible raining here, but I got to start from the app, and then you just plug in and away you go. So we're in Manchester, UK, and heading over to Sheffield area, so we didn't really need the charge today. It's about 105 miles from where we were, but we had 160 on the gasometer. But just for some lunch and a bit of shopping in this place just outside Manchester at Manchester IKEA. But unsurprisingly, nobody wanted to actually shop in IKEA, so I suppose I could get some meatballs, but probably have about 40-50 minutes here, get ourselves up to 80%, and that's a nice and easy experience, so pretty happy with that. So that's about half an hour, 35 minutes maybe. We've bumped back up to about 85, maybe 87% now. I'm going to unplug and head out. Can't start up the car. So that's in whilst you're plugged in. Not sure what that's about, but it wants you to stop charging. So if you want to do all your navigation stuff or whatever else, you're going to have to stop the charge. Which is something, if you're needing the charge, you may want to be putting in the navigation whilst you get the last bits of juice so that you can maximize that time. But there you go, that's a little quirk, and it's been fine. There's absolutely no issues with the charger. Started up, the app let me track my spend. This has been a very good first public charging stop. Don't know what everyone complains about. Maybe we'll find out later on. Here's where we spent the weekend. Ringwood Hall, Chesterfield for a wedding. So a bit of local driving, maybe 60-70 miles. We'll set off from Chesterfield area with about 83-84 miles on the battery, and we'll try and find somewhere to charge along the way. So not a desperate need for a charge just yet. We were going to stop at this one at Tibshelf on the southbound M1, but we have a Nissan Leaf, new one, just jumped on, and they were having problems getting it started, so the next one has, next service is down, has 2, it's only 15 miles away, so we're in good shape with 68 miles to get there. But just it's a good sign, I suppose. This is where you need redundancy. This one would be good to have another pump, but the next one does have 2 pumps, so clearly it's easy enough when you have enough range to hop off the motorway, check whether this is in use. If it is, see how long they need. They just started, so they're going to be at least 45 minutes, so we won't waste any time. We will hop back on the motorway, go 15 miles, and take another look at the next one. So, getting into that region where we definitely want to charge now. We came up to Donington services, so another 25 miles on the journey. but it's a busy place. We just had an I-Pace pull off the other pump, which is Chademo and CCS, and this one is, before that one was available, this leaf was already on the AC Type 2 and the DC Chademo, so we're just holding on now. It's a leisurely Sunday drive, but this is probably a lot of people going back from wherever they started. It's good that they're being used. That shows that everyone we've been to so far has had people around it, which is a good sign for the UK EV scene, and just slows our journey down a little bit, but you know, we're in no hurry. It's all sightseeing, so we'll get on shortly, hopefully. Have these pod points where they just have a pillar, and then you will plug this into the pillar, plug this into the car. An extra cord to carry around, but still useful. RFID card, which we do not have, or app, which is a bit clunky, but has not failed as yet. Already have credit loaded on here. Search map. Hopefully should find us. Which one of those it is? There's so many here. Okay. The one, we have an i3 charging on that one, so it's the one with 2 available slots, because there are 2 32 amp outlets on there. Here we are then, what will be the final charge, I think, of this rental visit on a nice new Polar. So it's here in Manchester, just outside. So we're back northwest and heading back to Castleford to the eVision rental place tomorrow. But here we go. So there's Novotel, nicely marked, new unit, clearly marked spaces, long way from the entrance, so it's well placed. Let's see, there's an overstay fee, that's interesting, £10 per hour, but we won't be here that long, we just need a little bit of juice. So here's the app. You just find the charger, click start charge. I've already preloaded this with some credit. Socket 3, that's the type 2.